said, well, John Gruden, outside of Belichick, may have the most power in the NFL. He's got like 7 years remaining on his contract, 7 or 8. He's got more power than his GM. I think he kind of handpicked him. And the owner, Mark Davis, worships Gruden. So you can make a deal for Deshaun Watson, but you got to have a coach. This is why the Rams could get Matt Stafford, because the owner believes in Sean McVay. So Gruden's got a ton of power. So that's the first thing I looked at is what coach has the power to pull it off? Belichick or Gruden could give up, they would just bulldoze their GM. Even Andy Reid wouldn't bulldoze Brett Veach. Brett's too respected. And Andy's got power, but he wouldn't do that. But Belichick wouldn't, Gruden would. When I suggested that, Raider Nation went haywire. So I have been told 3 things. This is what I have been told by people close to Gruden. He would move off Derek Carr. He likes him, but he'd move off him. 2, Gruden is concerned that with Mahomes and Justin Herbert in his division 4 times a year, he feels like he has a significantly less talented quarterback. He wants to go to a star. And 3rd, he's got the power to do it. So I believe, and we're just going to I'm not going to talk about all the quarterbacks. Let's just talk about the good ones. There's basically 2 groups of quarterbacks in the NFL. I would call the first the no argument group. They're great. You sound like an idiot arguing they're not. There's not many of them. There's 6. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. Stop talking. They're great. Some are playmakers, some are big, some are fast, some are strong. Some, like Brady, just elevate everybody. Nobody's arguing. This is the no argument class. They're different. They play different. They look different. They throw different. They may run different. Then there's the guys that are really good. I mean, they start in the NFL. They're good. But we argue about them all the time. And there's about 8 or 9 of these guys. Lamar, we don't love the way he throws. Dak, we just like everything but the throwing part. Kirk Cousins shrinks. Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Justin Herbert, and Jared Goff. Now, I'm not going to count Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield yet. You might, but just give me 7 more games with each. Let me see Baker after success if he puts weight on again. And Kyler is getting better, but let's see about 7, 8 games. I think Burrow will be in this very quick. So we've got 2 food groups here. The 6, no argument. The 9, we argue about how good they are. So let me ask you, if you want to get a no argument guy from an argument guy, what's it worth? Well, in negotiations, the key is, what do I need? What void do you fill? So the Houston Texans need a better infrastructure, and they need a happy quarterback. So they get Derek Carr, and let's say 3 number 1 picks and a player. So I got a happy quarterback, I get a good player, and great draft picks. I don't have any, I need them. What the Raiders need is a superstar that can go toe-to-toe with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, and they feel like, our guy's as good as their guy. It serves both needs. It's not outrageous. It actually makes a ton of sense. And there's stories out today, the Raiders, Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson, several NFL insiders expect the Raiders to take calls. They may need a 3rd team. They believe that Derek Carr is worth 2 first-round picks. I do too if they're middle first round to later first round. I'm not giving up the 2nd pick and the 2nd pick back-to-back years for him, but I'd give up the 17th and the 21st for him. But it's just not that unrealistic. There's only 2 real groups of quarterbacks, the good quarterbacks in this league. The 6 guys we just don't argue, you sound like an idiot. And then the others that you can have real arguments. Who's better? Stafford, Matt Ryan, Dak. You can have real arguments about this stuff. And the question becomes, the Raiders need a star, they believe. The Texans need a happy quarterback and an infrastructure realignment, and it serves both. I don't think it's nuts. I mean, the Raiders lost 4 one-possession games last year and went 8-8. They're close. Deshaun gets them to 11-5. And by the way, the Houston Texans with Deshaun went 4-12. So how much? You need infrastructure. Texans are better with Derek Carr over the next 3 years and 3 or 4 first-round picks and a starter. They were 4-12 last year with him. With him, Deshaun Watson. I think it works. I think the Raiders, what Gruden, the power he's got, the want, the understanding of his division, I think that one fits. Enjoy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Can you imagine that division?
My God.
Justin Herbert, Mahomes, and Deshaun Watson.
Well, think about the coaching division. The NFC West, Pete Carroll, McVay, Kyle Shanahan. AFC East, Belichick, Sean McDermott, Flores. You're getting like these all-star coaching and all-star quarterback positions. It shows you coaching's getting better and quarterbacking's getting better.
Look at the AFC North. That's why they have 3 teams in the playoffs.
Lamar, Baker, Burrow, Ben. Ben's now the worst.
Tomlin, Harbaugh, Stefanski.
Pretty good.
Yep. So Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo has been successful in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady before. He was the DC for the Giants when they beat the undefeated Patriots in the 2007 season. I've never rooted harder for a team that I didn't care about
one
than
of
the Giants.
Worst Super Bowls I've ever seen.
It was amazing.
Brutal.
Listen, Colin, it's just 72 seasons all the Dolphins have right now. We're starting to pick up some momentum.
Yeah, all Miami has beyond the weather.
The Dolphins. But Spagnuolo knows Brady is going to be ready to face the Chiefs and anything they throw at him.
He's a step ahead of everything. I mean, every film clip that you put on, he's putting their guys in the right defense. That's always the challenge when you go against what I call a cerebral quarterback, and we know Tom is like that. He has total control. He gets them out there in time to change things. We're going to have to be really good on the back end, not to show him things, or as we say, don't let him read our mail, because if he can read our mail, he knows exactly what to do.
He's 2-3, Brady is, in his career, including the playoffs against Spagnuolo as a DC, including 0-2 with 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions against Spags.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you, you got to give Spags credit. In the playoffs so far, Kansas City's secondary has been great. Honey Badger just cinches that all up. They've been really good.
The Chiefs' defense this postseason is 4th in points allowed, 5th in yards allowed per game, and they've had 5 sacks and 2 interceptions. Here's what's interesting about this scenario with them. Obviously, Spagnuolo does have a lot of experience against Brady in the postseason, which is important. Now, Pro Football Focus has ranked the Bucs offensive line 5th in 2020. Like, they have a good offensive line. Brady does not like to get touched. We know that. That's always been the case. It's nothing new, not in his old age. It's not a thing. When he's under pressure, including the postseason, 36.9 completion percentage, 5.1 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a 44.6 passer rating.
Yeah.
So if they can get some pressure on him, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, Tom was never as good with pressure. Nobody is. But as he's aged and wants to get hit less, I actually think, we said this before the season. Does everybody understand how great of a pick and how great of an acquisition Tristan Wirfs was for the Bucs at right tackle? There was like 5 tackles everybody liked. He was the brute strength tackle, not the most elegant. He's a Pro Bowler at right. You can argue he's the first or second best right tackle in football. If he doesn't work, they got a tackle issue because they did lose their left tackle for a while. So the reality for him, the interior of the Bucs O-line's been good. They're like ornery, really good. This rookie right tackle he's got a little bit of a wall now. So the good news for Tom is as Wirfs has gotten better over October to November, December, January. So Wirfs now is an elite right tackle.
Well, as we know, Tom is doing a lot of film study with his giant empty house. So to Spag's point, he knows where everything's going. So you just have to be better that day. So after 5 seasons with the Rams, Jared Goff is now a member of the Detroit Lions. And while he's disappointed about his time in LA ending, he does think it's a good move for him. He said, as the quarterback, as the guy that's at arguably the most important position on the field, if you're in a place that you're not wanted and they want to move on from you, the feeling's mutual. You don't want to be in the wrong place. It became increasingly clear that was the case. The trade is something I'm hopeful is going to be so good for my career. It's always it's bittersweet leaving anywhere for any reason, right? Like, endings can be difficult. How you transition from one thing to the next. Different people handle it differently. Like someone like you and I who's moved around a lot, I don't get super attached to like places and things because it's like I'm used to change and I'm comfortable with that.
Right.
But in trades, sometimes we look at them like, okay, one person's being traded because they're bad or they're not playing well, or and sometimes superstars get traded. So every situation is different. It really feels like the more that we're learning about this situation, and this has been the book on the Rams for a while now because they're very almost Patriot-like. Like there are pizzazz and aggressive in trades and signings and throwing money everywhere, but they don't let stuff get out.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with the Todd Gurley situation was very, like, nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Is he injured? Is he not injured? What's going on? And similarly with Goff, like he was benched, but we thought it was an injury until Wolford got injured. And then we're like, how is Goff available? Like, why is Wolford out there if Goff is available?
I will tell you this. I have been in correspondence with somebody inside the Rams organization. They don't like Goff being beat up. I was told last night, great kid. We made a decision as an organization. They don't like the Goff can't play narrative. In fact, what the Rams are telling me is, if Goff didn't have talent, you couldn't pull this off. He never gets hurt.
Right.
He's a great kid. He lost confidence. But the Rams want it to be known, this deal only gets made if you have something of value that you don't get Matt. By the way, the Colts wanted him. The Patriots wanted Stafford. The Niners wanted Stafford. Why did the Rams get him? Because